Good morning. It's Thursday, February 6th. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell, and I serve as Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at Houston Community College. Pleased to be joined by my weekly co-host, Ms. Linda Davis, who serves as the Office Manager for College Operations at our HCC Northeast College. Good morning, Linda.
Top of the Thursday to you, Sade.
Yes, yes, yes. Another week down. That means we are one day away from Friday if we are here on HCCTV. And for those that need to catch up on some episodes, let the people know where they can find us.
We are live on Houston Community College's district Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and HCCTV at noon, 5 and 10, Monday through Friday.
All right, well, we have a great lineup today. Today, we have another student success story, and this one is from our sterile processing technician department. And that student and Linda are going to have a really good conversation because that particular program is so interesting. I know a lot of people don't know that particular career pathway exists. But first, Thursday Family Fun Day, that's today here on Up to the Minute, and we're getting an intimate glimpse into the concept of love in ancient Egypt, just in time for Valentine's Day. Here to join us to talk about it is Kathleen Havens, who serves as the Director of Curriculum and Content for the Houston Museum of Natural Science. Good morning, Kathleen.
Good morning. So glad to be here.
So happy to have you. Welcome to the show. Well, like I said in my opening, next week is Valentine's Day, and the museum will host an elegant three-course dinner. Now, you always think about the museum as a date night, but you always feel like you have to do dinner separately.
Exactly. Usually you don't get to eat in the museum. It's kind of a treat.
Yes, indeed. And the treat includes that dinner being paired with how exploring the ancient Egyptians and how they show love. I'm really interested in this topic. But before we get into the presentation and the details, tell us about the event.
Okay, well, it's going to be, like you said, an elegant three-course dinner. But included in that dinner, which is going to be held in the facility at Sugar Land, at our Sugar Land location of the museum, you're going to get a presentation on love in ancient Egypt by our Director of Egyptian Archaeological Missions here at the Museum of Natural Science, and her name is Dr. Marlar. And she's going to be giving you a fascinating glimpse into the love lives of ancient Egyptians.
Well, and that's why the event is called Love in Ancient Egypt, and it is inspired by poetry of that time. So you told us a little bit about who will lead that. When I thought about that, I was like, when she probably went to school, she didn't think that title existed.
Probably not.
Director of Egyptian Archaeological Missions.
It's a mouthful.
Indeed, indeed. So about the poetry of the time, was it Dr. Marlar who understood the poetry and was able to make the connection and say, hey, this would be the perfect thing for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I think it is a really good match for Valentine's Day. And she is all about all things ancient Egypt. So she's going to help the audience kind of explore the idea of love in ancient Egypt through not only poetry, love songs, but also images that can be found on the tomb and temple walls. Also on papyri, which is the ancient Egyptian version of paper. And then ostraca, which are these little broken pieces of pottery that the ancient Egyptians would jot notes down on or draw pictures on. And a lot of these actually related to love.
I love that. And who would have thought? We know that hieroglyphics in ancient Egypt, most very early writing started there. So
yeah,
to know that
years ago.
Yes, to know that they were writing about love.
Of course, it's the human condition. We're pretty much the same, animals as we were, 5,000, 3,000 years ago.
And those same animals, I know if a good poem's probably still went with some good food back then as well. So if we look back go back to this three-course dinner and wine, will this be right in the museum itself, or you have something separate set up?
No, it will definitely be right in the museum itself. So you get to kind of, have dinner just amongst some just really fabulous artifacts and fabulous specimens too. So that's pretty cool.
Is there anything around the food that ties to the theme of ancient Egypt?
Now, I have not been privy to the secret of what's on the menu yet. I think
Ooh,
that is
you
yet
just
to
have to come
be
and see.
revealed.
That's to be revealed. And I'm assuming since wine will be served and alcohol will be served, this is not an event for the young lovers.
It is not, not only because of course, there'll be wine there, but also some of the things surrounding love can kind of be explicit, if you understand what I mean. So probably best for an adult audience only.
Okay, definitely. I pick up what you're putting down there. And so,
Explicit in a purely historical and scientific way.
absolutely, no other way to do it.
No,
So we're
ma'am.
told that you all will unearth the mysteries of love in the shadow of the pyramids. So do you know how Dr. Millar will be exploring the connection between love, a myth, and the relationships in ancient Egypt?
Well, she's going to kind of tie it, I believe, back to sort of from the ancient times to us and talk about these things that came mostly from the New Kingdom period, which is around 3,000 years ago. But these are much older oral traditions, likely. So people passed along stories and poetry and songs via, oral means. And then in the New Kingdom, they were written down. And so she'll just be kind of exploring what that meant to them and then how it kind of connects to us, talking about passion, talking about love, talking about jealousy and separation, some of the same things that we can kind of recognize from, like I said, our own lives.
Absolutely. And the invite says that poetry is going to be a big part of that love connection. What do we know who some of the poems are from, sent to and from?
That's an interesting question because when we're talking about love and we're talking about these expressions that we can not only see in pictures but also in writing, when we're talking about gods or we're talking about the pharaoh, it's going to be much more restrained. So these are going to be things from more everyday type people. A lot of times, maybe a little wealthier when we're talking about things that are on papyri, the paper substance. But on the ostraca and things like that, it might just be from average everyday people like you, me, whoever. So that's kind of what we're going to be, or she's going to be exploring with the audience.
And I don't know if we got into the time. How long is this experience?
It's from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, so it's a pretty long experience.
Mm, definitely. And so for those that are watching, text Bay. Tell them you got a plan. If nothing is planned for next week, let them know that you have something and get signed up for this event. Now, this is something that is this exhibit going to go is the exhibit going to go on beyond Valentine's Day? How long is the exhibit going to be open?
Oh no, it's not. It's just the dinner. So it's just
Mhm.
Valentine's Day. It's just 6 to 9. It's just for that audience. So it's actually a really, really special thing for them to experience that most other people won't get to.
Oh, okay. Exclusivity. That's
Exclusivity in love in ancient Egypt.
exclusivity and love in ancient Egypt. Well, I know you all probably have a lot going on at the museum for the month of February because I personally don't like being out on Valentine's Day. For the lovers that may want to go to the museum over the weekend, what else is available?
So tomorrow night we have our special Valentine's mixers and elixirs party where we have a cash bar, we have food trucks, you get to dance and mingle, amongst the dinosaurs and all the things here at the HMNS Park location. So we have that going on. And as always, we have the fabulous permanent exhibit halls. We have a couple of other special exhibitions, such as King Tut's Tomb Discovery Experience, which goes along with our Love in Ancient Egypt theme. And we have Death by Natural Causes that's here as well. So there's a lot of really, really cool things to experience. You can spend the whole day here and not
I
see it all.
Oh, and not see it all. I love to hear that. So King Tut, arguably one of the most renowned known figures in ancient Egypt. You said he goes along with the theme, but were there any love letters or anything unearthed from him?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. I'm not sure I know the answer to that, but that is definitely a question if you go to Dr. Marlar's uh, talk or her presentation that I bet she could certainly answer that. That's a good question. I'm going to have to know.
Yes, and people are just going to have to come to find out. All
Exactly.
right. Well, I've enjoyed so much chatting about you, learning about this experience. And I think that's a beautiful thing about Houston. I tell people a lot of times, so much comes into Houston, regardless of what we have in Houston, so much comes in. And a lot
Mhm.
of what comes in are these exhibits. At the museum. We have to take a break, but we're going to come back and talk to you a little bit more, Kathleen, about the museum and all that it has to offer. All right. For those of you, hold on. We're going to take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Awesome.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Right, welcome back. We are continuing our segment with the Museum of Natural Science. So happy to have them joining us. If you're just tuning in, we talked about their Valentine's themed day event, Love in Ancient Egypt. I want to invite my co-host into the conversation, Miss Linda Davis.
Yes, yes, yes. I am all about the love for February. And I was just thinking as you guys were talking earlier, I know you said there's a three-course meal and there is wine, so I'm sure the kiddos will have to be left behind. But are there things that the museum does for kids? I know the summer's coming up as well, and parents trying to figure out what to do with the kids. I had that problem once upon a time. Glad it's over, but do you all have things for kids?
We absolutely do. And it just so happened that I used to be the director of our summer camp programs here at the museum. We have lots of different summer camp classes that are available for children from 6 to 12 years old in the camp program. We also have scout classes during the summer for scouts of all ages, 6 and up. Just so much to do in the summertime, just in addition to just visiting the museum, visiting the butterfly center, walking amongst the dinosaurs.
Wow, that sounds like fun and very educational. Now, as you know, our students, we're always trying to expose them to different careers. And we found out with the zoo, there's a ton of things to do other than the animal keepers. What are some of the occupations that you guys have that our students might be able to pursue?
Absolutely. Especially in the summertime for our active students, they can be teaching assistants in our summer camp and scouting programs. There is a way to apply, and you guys will have the information for our website, I'm sure, in the notes. We have opportunities to work in our visitor services department, just kind of get your feet wet here at the museum. It's a great way, and especially if you want to be a teacher, you want to be in the museum industry, it's a great way to get that experience and to get yourself and your face known, to people that could, help you and mentor you along the way.
So what led you to the museum? Tell us your story.
So when I was a little girl in 1977, our parents took us to the King Tut exhibit in New Orleans. And I was just like wide-eyed. I was like, I'm going to work in a museum. And they were like, sure, you're very cute and all. And I actually started working here the same way I was suggesting with the college students. I came and I worked as a teaching assistant in the classroom, and I tried to make myself as useful as possible and kind of in your face, like, don't forget about me. And so I've been here, this is my 29th year. So a long time.
Congratulations. Hey, I know that there's opportunities with different type of organizations where they have interactive things. Do you all have anything like that, or maybe something like that coming down the pipe when you're visiting? I might want to go back to King Tut time and walk like an Egyptian.
Yes. It's interesting you say that. So the King Tut's tomb discovery experience that I was speaking about earlier is very interactive. So I worked on that exhibit, and it's basically set up like a footprint, almost a one-to-one footprint of the original tomb that was discovered by archaeologist Howard Carter. So you walk down the passageway, and it looks like the passageway to get in there, and you go from room to room where you can get right up close to the artifacts, and they're put in a way that they would have been seen when it was discovered. And there's also things you can touch and things you can interact with, as far as like games where you can dig up, artifacts from the passageway of the tomb, different kinds of materials you can touch with your hands. So it is very interactive.
Well, I like that. And you said that there are things that you can touch, because my first thought with all these artifacts and how expensive they must be, I don't touch anything, put your hands in your pockets. But that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. It's been very fun. It's been very popular. It's kind of one of those experiences that are so popular right now, but it's the museum's version.
Okay, now tell me this. Tell me one thing that we may not know or we may not think about with the museum, because there's always some undercover secrets and background stuff. Secrets. Yeah.
So this is a great place to do different activities that can be in the evening that are only maybe exclusively for your group. We have an escape room. We have 2 different escape room activities that you can do. One in our Cabinet of Curiosities exhibit, and then also in the King Tut's Tomb Discovery exhibit. You can come and have like a little party with your friends and see if you can come out alive.
Oh my goodness, who knew that? See, I told you, I'm all about getting the tea and the secrets.
You gotta get the tea.
Now tell me about Lord Carnarvon.
Oh, Lord Carnarvon, yes. He was the individual who provided financing basically for Howard Carter, who was digging around the desert for many, many years before he eventually discovered King Tutankhamun's tomb on the very last year that Lord Carnarvon was going to provide funding for him. And he is tied into somewhere, somehow into Downton Abbey. And I've never watched that, but I know that some people are big fans. So that might be a connection that some people would find interesting.
Yes, and I'm sure he would not have liked me calling him carnivore, and he's carnivore.
Carnivore, carnivore.
I don't want to come to the museum and he's looking for me in that escape room and I can't get out. But it still is a carnivore house.
The house belongs to him on Downton Abbey. That's okay. That's the connection.
Okay. I wasn't a Downton Abbey fan, but I might need to, watch a few episodes so I could see it.
I am not the person you want on your trivia team when it comes to pop culture, but science and history, I got your back.
But I'm really excited about this Valentine Day Love Things, because when you think about museums and you think about these artifacts, it almost feels kind of spooky.
It does a little bit. There's a lot of history, right? And I tend to be the type of person too that sort of feels that in my bones. Like, who might have touched that? Or, that coin, who had that in their pocket? What did they buy? Was it somebody famous, or just imagining that everyday person and, maybe what I had in common with them? I always put myself back in time.
So this is what I would like for you to do. For those that may have been joining us a little late and missed the first half of the segment with Sharday, where you talked about the Valentine Day love experience, can you reiterate some of those high points?
Sure, absolutely. So this Valentine's Day from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we are going to have Dr. Marlar, who's our Director of Egyptian Archaeological Missions here at the museum. She's an Egyptologist. She's going to talk about love amongst the pyramids, so love from ancient Egypt, and how they expressed it both through poetry and song, and from the images that they left behind on temple walls and on, papyri and little pieces of broken pottery that they wrote on. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a little spicy, and it's going to be fun.
And it's going to be from 6 to 9 on Valentine's Day. And there's going to be a 3-course meal with wine.
Yes.
You had me a meal. I'm a foodie, Kathleen. I'm a foodie.
I know. Yeah, the
So,
food will be great. I promise you that.
so you guys won't want to miss that. Thank you, Kathleen Haven, Director of Curriculum and Content for the Houston Museum of Natural Science, for being our guest all day today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
All right, guys, we'll be back after a quick commercial break. Shorty and I'll be back with some news and announcements. Don't you go anywhere. You don't want to miss this.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
All right, welcome back. We're going to wrap things out like we always do on Up to the Minute with news and announcements. We're going to kick things off for announcement just for our employees, our faculty and staff. HCC Strategy Planning and Institutional Effectiveness Department is inviting all of you to its Coffee and Conversation. It's a part of tours that are building a culture of exceptional support. The next one is today from 9 to 10 a.m. So I hope you all are already there, happening at our central campus. Be sure to check the post for details for other locations, times, and dates on the tour.
Should HCC change its name? Take the survey. Would a new name help our students be more competitive? HCC wants faculty and staff to take the survey to answer that question as it evolves to meet our changing needs. By adding new bachelor's degrees, advanced technology programs, and innovative learning experiences, HCC explores ways to better align its identity and its mission. The deadline to take the survey is February the 7th. Check out the post after the show.
All right. Like I've said on other shows, one of the top questions a lot of people who work here get is, how do I get on as a faculty member? I want to teach a course and give back. Well, the Faculty Career Fair is a great place to start. HCC will host this Faculty Career Fair for educators to learn about programs and potential roles. Everyone is encouraged to attend to see how they can impact student lives. It'll be happening from 9 a.m. to noon Saturday, February 15th at our HCC West Loop campus, and free parking will be available. Check the post after the show for details.
Art exhibition reception for central faculty members. The human condition and cultural identity are driving forces in Maria Valdez's work, but the exhibition features Houston's infrastructure, economy, population, and weather patterns. Exhibition through April 4th at HCC's Central Fine Arts Gallery. Arts reception was going to be from 6 p.m. Thursday, February the 27th. Check out the information in the post after the show.
All right, calling all students who are looking for a job. A part-time opportunity is available through our work study program with the Students Approved Work Study Financial Aid Award. So this is a part of your financial aid award. You can work part-time on campus or at one of our off-campus partners, earning $15 an hour and with the ability to work of up to 19.5 hours per week. Unfortunately, since this is a part of the financial aid award package, international students don't qualify for these part-time positions. So for those of you who are on financial aid, check the post after the show for details.
Well, you can't get work study if you're not a student, and you can't be a student if you don't register. So guess what's going on right now? Spring registration continues. Spring registration for Second Start is going on with classes being offered in a variety of programs and various semester lengths. HCC courses are also offered in a range of modalities, which includes online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, both face-to-face and partially virtual, in-person and hybrid labs. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, you know where to visit us at hccs.edu/apply.
All right, well, coming up tomorrow is Film Friday, so tune in for a special guest. And next week, we'll continue our celebration of Up to the Minute's 5-year anniversary when we'll spotlight our hosts and co-hosts, including yours truly, Linda and I. We thank you for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute, and we'll see you next time.